Thanks for staying with us. Today is the World Day Against Trafficking in Persons, and it's observed on the 30th of July yearly. It is set aside to raise awareness about the ordeal of victims of human trafficking and the ways to safeguard their rights. Human trafficking is a glaring issue that still lingers across the world. According to reports, every year thousands of men, women and children fall victim to this grave violation of human rights. The theme for this year is Use and Abuse of Technology, which primarily focuses on technology being a tool to proliferate human trafficking. With the paradigm majorly shifting to digital, the vulnerability of victims has increased. Well, for more on this, we have joining us online founder and executive director, Live Abundantly, Dr. Ama. It's good to have you join us on the news at this time. Well, you know that Nigeria remains a source, of course, transit and destination country when it comes to human trafficking. And year in, year out, I know that you've been part of this advocacy for some years now. We commemorate this day. How well are we faring? Is the awareness leading to a decline in human trafficking?
Well, thank you very much for having me on this episode. And to be honest with you, the numbers are not getting any better. They're actually getting worse. And the reason is very simple. Whilst we were able to connect globally using digital technology during the pandemic, these insidious criminals that violate people's human rights have found a way to use this technology to increase their base. So basically, it is operating in a borderless network where you can go online and advertise and recruit and track and then move people like commodities. So the numbers are not improving at all. They're actually worse. When you look at the things that are going on globally, whether it's the insecurity, whether it's the wars, the poverty, all of these things heighten the vulnerability of people, particularly women and children. The statistic is that 71% of those trafficked are women and children, and only 29%. And I use the word only not because I'm minimizing it, but to emphasize that there is a bias in terms of those who are being trafficked. And there's an increasing number of child trafficking going on right now. They're targeting schools, they're targeting areas where there is so much instability, and the parents are desperate to get money, desperate to feed their children, or the children have become street children. And in that case, they're so vulnerable that you can move them. The average person has a mobile phone. You go on your mobile phone and you're connected digitally with the world. So you can imagine what is coming through. And if you don't understand the elements of cyber safety, you will fall victim to this insidious crime.
Well, if you look at this, I'll call it an abstract medium now because you cannot really track in this person's behind this medium. It seems untraceable and most times. So are you saying that the world is at a dead end since we cannot reduce the number of unsafe travels?
What I am saying is that the international bodies, the FBI, Scotland Yard, all of those international bodies are working to figure out how else that they can track the movement of people, the illegal movement of people. Border agencies, they're all involved in it. But at the same time, they recognize that it is an underground cartel. It is the second cartel in the world. I mean, we don't even have accurate numbers of how much they're actually making on this illegal trade. But it is estimated it's about 150 billion in 2020. Now, if you think about where we are now globally with the inflation, with the poverty, with the insecurity, with the wars, you can estimate that it's actually higher than that. So it comes down to everyone becoming a stakeholder within their homes, within their communities, companies becoming involved, because we do know that there are companies in that supply chain that may also be using modern slavery as a way of, getting products done very quickly and cheaply. When you look at the dynamics of human trafficking, you have to recognize that it is moving people to exploit them, whether it's sexual, whether it's work, whether it's forced pregnancy, because, there are those who want children, organ harvesting. It is a plethora of things that are going on. So every single person must be involved in stopping this process. You've heard in the news about Mo Farah, a well-known athlete who is now coming out to say, I was trafficked. We've also heard the story of the senator that was arrested in the UK for supposedly trafficking someone to harvest the organ. So nobody is oblivious to this. Everybody must be involved. Everybody must take part to reduce the trafficking that's occurring within the community and also on a national and international level. The highest percentage in Nigeria is actually on a national level because there are no accurate figures of who is leaving the country, but it is occurring. And it's a borderless crime. It is going on insidiously without control.
All right, it's pretty sad that we still cannot come, after about 19 years now, we still cannot find solution to irregular migration. I'm afraid we may have to leave this discussion here. Dr. Ama, thank you so much for joining us on the news at this time.
Thank you for having me.